Welcome WarningCtr. This training will help us walk through the new Cal EOC 360 application. It's a full spectrum applications package for documenting incidents. You may wonder why we created this new environment, and you may remember the old Cal EOC Web EOC platform with 1,000 different permission sets, way too many boards, wasn't user-friendly, and it was outdated technology that was difficult to update, and it had limited features. So our new Cal EOC 360 environment has a more user-friendly interface, only 9 sets of permissions, and offers robust reporting and dashboard capabilities. Also, we have in-house tech support, and bonus for our community users, it's still free to use. So the agenda for this class, we'll get an overview of what's in Cal EOC 360. We'll see the permissions that WarningCtr has, see the default views, widgets, and editing. We'll get a demo and incident walkthrough, and then we'll get support information. Here is the Cal EOC 360. This is the community site with the icons, and this is what's in it. It's built on Salesforce Engage. Different applications for documenting different circumstances. In the WarningCtr, you can read records in these apps, and your power to create, edit, and read is in the Proclamations app. Also, it's in the activity log, which you don't need. So you will not see or have access to after-action reports, which is the sort of one icon that's missing here. Reports icon at the very bottom is a placeholder for unique reports or information displays that are unique to your department. Since we don't know what those unique reports might look like, that's just a placeholder. As you can see, you can read most of the different kinds of applications in this suite, and you can create, edit, and read the proclamations. Also of note, only the WarningCtr and Recovery can create and edit proclamations. Recovery can also close them, but you're the main center, and that's the same flow as always has been. I'm going to speed walk us through how or where you'll find some of the new features. You'll be familiar with a lot of these. It's an overview of where you'll start out. Make sure you're in the Cal EOC 360 apps to the left. This 9-dot icon, as you've seen, will help you choose the Cal EOC application set. Our navigation is in the menus options right here. This little downward facing chevron gives us access to all these applications. This is the search bar that you want to use if you need to find anything. The reason is because that searches through all the Cal EOC 360 apps, and it returns in a really nice indexed results. So you can see pretty much everything that's in the system. You can also use this search bar, but this is not the power tip because this only looks through this list and it only looks through the first 2,000 records, so you may or may not find what you need from this search bar. Another tip, the action buttons are always in the upper right corner. Same thing with RRS. If you need to create a new record or if you need to edit or do printable buttons up here, all of these action buttons will be in the upper right corner. In the upper left corner is wayfinding. It's basically you can tell where you are. In this case, we're looking at incidents, and we're at the default view. Recently viewed is always the default view for any of these apps. You'll get a list view, this list, and it'll be recently viewed as the default. When you're looking for things, you might be able to find things easy by sorting. So if you click on any of these tabs, it will sort the table based on this row. Click again and it'll sort going the other way, so ascending one way, descending the other way. Also, if you're on a narrow screen, this little downward facing chevron gives you the option to wrap or clip the text. If you're in a list view like this and recently viewed isn't the view that you want to see, click on this little downward facing arrow, and the downward facing arrow will give you other list views. You can also use this pin icon to pin any one of these views so that it'll be there the next time you log in. Pin any view, you can change the pin anytime. This is the details page. If you click on the proclamations from this little button in the upper right corner of this widget, then it will bring along this incident information. There's lots of ways to edit a record. From the list view, you can edit on the very far right. There will be some little edit buttons. You can edit a record also from the details page. From the edit button in the upper right, remember this is where the action buttons are. You can also edit from these little pencils. And the pencils will open up the entire page for editing, but your cursor will be in that field, so quick and easy editing. Along the right column are widgets, the many apps, which are an overview of all apps that are related to this incident. So when you're in an incident page or a proclamations page, these are the related widgets for this particular application. This is the default internal list view for proclamations. you can click the new button in the upper right corner, or you can go through the incident. You can click on any of the blue links. You'll go to a details page for that one proclamation.
So I'm going to take you through kind of the live demo. Some of it's going to be the same type of stuff that she just showed you, but just in the actual environment so you can see how it works. Feel free to follow along as we do this. So pulling up my screen now. There we are. Okay, so what I'm logged into right now is Salesforce. However, it's not the right program. I'm currently in the resource request or RRS program. So if you happen to switch between different programs within Salesforce, this is how you're able to switch to what you need. It's entirely possible that when you log in, it's going to give you a nice little application screen to be able to choose what you want. Cool, that makes it easy. Otherwise, you've got a couple ways to do it over here in the 9-dot menu. Clicking on that, you can just type in what you're looking for. So if I'm looking for CalEOC 360, I can just find it right there. The other thing I could do is from the main thing here, just click View All, and that will bring up this application launcher. This also is the thing that will typically be open whenever you open up this program anyway, so you don't really have to worry about searching for it. But as you can see, CalEOC 360 is right here. Clicking on any of the CalEOC 360s will take you to the CalEOC 360 site. So here you can see that's what I'm in, and I'm currently in incidents. If I happen to be in a different board when I had last closed it out, it might put me back to that one. So a little bit about how to navigate this whole thing. The power search bar that Judy was talking about is right up here, and this is where you can search for just about anything you want. You can see a bunch of earthquakes come up, and clicking on the show more will bring up a new tab, and it'll show you all of the different things that are associated with what I just searched for, and you can see the different boards that it's in. The power search up here, just as you can see, it goes through all of the different boards, everything that's in this system. So that's why that's one of the recommended search items. If you're looking for something that you know is relatively recent and you know it's in this board, then you can just search right in here, and it'll search this board only. Note that not everything can be searched, and what is listed here in the tooltip is all the stuff that cannot be searched. However, you can use standard browser controls, Control F, to be able to find stuff within the page, and it'll work fine. So there's that. The other thing that was mentioned is how do you customize this to make it look the way you want it to? So right now this came up as recently viewed. That is the default list view that you'll have for every single one of these boards. If you've never logged in before, you're not going to have anything in there because you haven't viewed anything recently. Switching to a different list view is right here. So you just click on that name, whichever list view you're in, and you can select whichever one you want. Note that the recently viewed is the one that is currently pinned. That's why it defaulted to that for me. So if I want to switch to the CalEOC 360 incidents, then note that it is not pinned with that diagonal pin icon. So I'm going to go ahead and click it, and that has now pinned this particular view as my default view. You can only have one default view at a time, but you can change it as many times as you want to whatever you want. In fact, you can even create your own view on these. In this little list view control dropdown, you have the ability to create a brand new list. It'll basically be a blank Excel sheet is what it kind of looks like, or you can copy, clone is copy in this case, you can copy this same list that you currently have. So if I wanted a new list, but let's say I didn't want the created date in there for whatever reason, I can copy this, I can name it whatever I want, and then I can save it. As far as these other options, only some permissions allow you to actually do that. So pretty much it's just this is a list for you. So if I click save, now it will come up with a complete copy of what I had just done. I can add and remove filters right here to be able to kind of say I only want to see certain things. And I can also, right in this dropdown, see more options. So selecting the fields to display is what allows you to select your columns. The visible field all the way at the top is going to be the column all the way to the left. So you can actually move these around And if I didn't want that created date, I can just click on it and move it over to the left. Say that I wanted created by instead. So I can put that over here, but I don't want it all the way down at the bottom. So I can move it up a ways. So let's say I want that to be my very first one for whatever reason. Clicking save, you'll now see that created by is over here, and I do not have the created date on here. So you can really make a custom list for yourself. Oh, the other thing is, note that this isn't showing the full name. This is that clip versus wrap text that Judy was talking about. So I can wrap the text, it increases the size of the row, but now I can see everything in that. Alternatively, I could just move the size of that row. So you have a lot of ways to be able to really, really finesse what you're looking at. Now, this particular option is in my list of viewable options. If I decide I don't want this one anymore, easy to do, list view controls, delete, and confirm. Now that one has been deleted. So it's really providing you the ability to make the list the way you want it so that it shows what you need. And that works for almost every single list in the entire suite of applications. All right, so as far as how then the rest of this stuff works, you're going to have a few different things that are within almost every single one of these boards, and that's usually some sort of button option up here. Printable view for any of these is going to bring up a new tab with a printer-friendly view of what you were just looking at. You even have a few more control options here, and then you can print right from it. Different boards will have some different print functions or different output views just to make it work better. So if you need it in physical format or PDF format, you can do that. If you want to look at any of these things, all you have to do is click on the hyperlink. So for the incidents, it's the incident name. So if I just wanted to see what this one was about, I can click on it. It'll open right up and show me the information about this particular incident. So here it shows all of the stuff that was entered. All of these are training, so some of them don't make any sense whatsoever, but that's okay. You have, again, more buttons up here. Which ones you have are dependent on your user permissions. So like the ones you're seeing on mine are possibly going to be different than the ones you see on yours. Over here are all the widgets, and these all connect directly to other boards or other apps within this same system. So you can access all this information from different points. All of these widgets are typically on the right. However, if you work in like portrait screen, you've got one of your screens in portrait view, or you're using like a skinny screen or a skinny browser window, or for whatever reason you've been relegated to a really small laptop, these might be down at the bottom. So just pan down the screen and you'll find them. It will show you how many, generally, records, as it's called, anything that's in here. It'll show you that right next to the name. So in this case, there's only one, and it is showing the one that is right here. It will only show up to 3 in a single widget. And then if it has more than 3, it'll just say 3+. To be able to see anything, any of the whole list, all of the stuff that's connected with this particular incident, all you have to do is either click on the view all or the widget name, and that'll take you to a list view of all of the, in this case, IDEs that are associated with this particular incident. Something else to note, the way that this kind of pops around onto different tabs. If you noticed, when I clicked on this Earthquake Hancock Nielsen, it popped open a new tab. So a new tab up here. When I clicked on something within that tab, it dropped down to a sub-tab. So here I've got the actual incident information. Here is the initial damage estimate list. Now, if I click on the IDE itself, it's going to open up a new tab and bring me over here. So it's going to keep on doing tabs. So you could have multiple main tabs up here. They could be incidents, they could be any of the other board information, and then anything you click to from that main tab will be down under here. So you can have a lot of stuff open at the same time and quickly move between them if you need to. If for whatever reason you wanted this up here, you can absolutely do that. You can just say set as workplace tab and it moves it up to that point. Note that now it doesn't have any subtabs because I made it a primary tab. And if I go back here, I have the subtabs. Let's say that I want to even make sure I understand what this tab is. I can customize it, at least for this session, and say IDE list. Click save and it changes the name of it. So you have a lot of ways to really make this work so it works quickly for you during an actual incident when you're just trying to get the information in here or work with it. Closing these out, easy enough, click the X. That's generally how you do anything in this entire suite of programs. Is very similar to that. So now that you've seen that, I'm going to go ahead and take you through kind of some of the other stuff that is available. First off, I'm going to open up a incident that I know has a lot of stuff in it so that I have it available. So here we go. I already showed you how the IDE works. Here you can see that 3+, showing that there's more than 3 in here. But let me show you what the IDE list looks like from the main tab. So going back to your main one here, the incidents, just clicking on this little drop down and you can switch between all of the different boards. You can see they're all down here. So here, if I switch on IDE, it's going to show me every single IDE across the board. So it's showing every single thing that's in here. So I can find it from any incident, open them up. If I click on the number, it's going to open up the IDE. If I click on the incident name, it's going to open up the incident itself. That's how that works. Next up, let's go down. We're going to come back to proclamations at the end because I know that's your bread and butter. So we want to make sure that we get to that. Okay, so we're going to go down to see this EOC schedule here. So here you can see some of the stuff that's been put into it. But the really cool part, and this is where it can help if like you're helping out the SOC and you might have a meeting that you have to make sure you attend, click on projector view and it opens up a new tab and it shows you the next 5 upcoming meetings or events and the previous 3 that have most recently passed. And you can see it gets color coded. You can pull this off into a new screen, so you can have it up on a screen or on a secondary one or something for you so everybody sees what's going on. You can press and hold control and you can zoom in and out. If it doesn't quite look right, notice that it kind of goes off the screen, click the refresh button and it'll reset the way that you want it. So that's the nice thing about that EOC schedule. You can also go into this view to be able to see everything that's coming up. So you can see all the things coming up and then all the things that are past, it'll sort those. So if you're looking at something that's more than 5 events beyond, you can still see it right here. You can get to your projector view from here as well. The EOC schedule from the main tab is going to show you every single thing going on. So you can see there's multiple meetings happening at the same time for multiple events. All of it's visible right here. All right, continuing on, activity logs. So you have access to activity logs. You can see these, you can access them, you can make them yourself if you want to, but I know that you've got a different system that you use, and that's fine. These are here just if you want to use it. So activity log is really just, all right, hey, what's going on? What's been happening? The handy thing is that they actually connect to this notable activities here thing on the incident itself. So that shows like all of the events that people have put in from different activity log buckets. It'll all show up right here. Makes it easy for someone kind of looking and seeing what's going on. So the activity logs, if you wanted to do a new one for an event, very simple. You just click this little drop-down thing and click new. Note that it brings the event over. So this incident over. You don't have to search for it or anything. If you're doing it for a different one, you can just switch which one you're doing it for. It's fine. You would just put in the date from, the date to. This is essentially like your shift or something, or however long you want this activity log going for. The time, these are just nice and handy, already ready to go. Whatever ICS position you've got, and if you've got a unit that you're going to go for. So doing that creates a bucket. So when I click save, this creates the activity log bucket for me to be able to actually put stuff into. So then the resources, that's your people. That's the folks helping out. So you can add in whoever it is that's is going to be helping. And you can add in different resource homes or whatever you might be. But the whole idea is like, hey, you've got a team working with you. So there we go. I've just created that extra person, so I don't need to worry about much else with that, which means I can go back to my activity log just by clicking over here. Now, I can add in anything that's happening. So notable activities. This is actually providing like, hey, what's going on? So let's see. This, it is currently 9:23, and clicking save. No, it doesn't like something in there. It's in the range provided. Okay, probably because I have not, I think I started at 9:30. So that's probably what it was, which is a good actually example. Anytime you run into something that the system doesn't like, it's going to tell you. So here, activity date should be within the range provided and operational period. Well, it is the day, but it was before the operational period that I had designated. So there, just putting it after 9:30 and it saved it. If you have something significant, like you want people to pay attention to it, that's what that significant event checkbox is for. All right, so I've got a number of different tabs opened up here. If I wanted to edit this, easy enough, edit button here, edit pencils there, simple. I can delete it also. So I'm going to go ahead and X those out. Now you can see I've got this notable activities right here. I could upload files if I wanted to, plenty of options. And it really is just to be able to track what's going on if you want to use it. So now you know, if you want to use it, it's there for you. If I were to go back to the incident itself, let's go ahead and refresh. Now you see that that conducted training is part of this notable activities list, so that you're able to see everything that's going on from different people about this incident. Moving on down, the local shelters. You can see all of the local shelters that are connected with this particular incident. And you can see there are 3 of them and they're all listed here. Easy enough, go into it if you want to by clicking the number, and it shows you the information about this local shelter. Now, this is something that we are actively working with CDSS on to be able to make it more usable. So this is one that you'll probably see change. It might be removed temporarily while we get that all figured out, but it is something that we want at least to have available, whether it's through this directly or through a link or something like that, so that anybody looking at these incidents can see what's going on with shelters. If you're to go to the local shelter board, then you're going to see all of the local shelters for all of the different incidents going on. And you can see kind of a breakdown of how many animal capacity there is, the total animal population right there, got the people, and you got the people occupancy. So you can see everything happening at a glance. Next down is Emma, and this is just kind of more awareness for you, just knowing that it's here. This shows all of the Emma requests that are associated with the system or with the incident right now. And if I were to go into it, you can see there's only those 2. I can click on the number itself, and that shows me the Emma request itself. And this is another bucket. If there were actual like positions that are needed, people that are needed, you're going to see that here. If people have responded saying, hey, I'm willing to help, or I've got somebody that can help, you're going to see those responses here. That's how that generally works. This one looks different when you go to the board. So clicking on the Emma board, and you end up seeing kind of this dashboard view. You have requests, which will show you all of the Emma request buckets. And then you've got the actual positions that are requested here. And this just shows you, all right, what's going on, who's requesting it, what's the status, And then you can kind of see it broken down here. How many are needed, how many responses, how many people have offered up help, and how many have been selected to help. So that's what all of that is about. Moving down, any regional event summaries will be shown here. And I'll just take you to that view right now. And you can see regional event summaries just show you that, exactly what it is. Nothing fancy there, regional event summaries. If we're to switch up to the seeing everything, then you'll see more details, the name it's associated with, the incident type, types of assistance, things like that. Finally, on your list, you've got after action reports. So these are going to show you the after action report stuff. So when it's completely finished, you're going to see every single one of these things filled in, and it's going to show everything from like what was going on, what were the lessons learned, what could be improved, things along those lines. The AAR list view itself even shows a countdown. So once a draft is started of this, it starts a 90-day countdown to be able to complete it and submit it. Once it's submitted, can't really edit it unless they work with the AAR admin folks over in recovery. You can even see like, hey, it's been submitted, you got a green flag, yay. And then if it goes like overdue, there'll be a red one, which there's probably some down here somewhere. There we are, overdue. So these are all things that you can poke around and look at your leisure, but that's the basic of everything that's available within this system. Now let's get to your stuff, and that's the proclamations. So here, let me go back to proclamations. All right. So you can see that I've already done a few of these in here just for training, but you've got a couple of different ways to actually add a proclamation. One of them is from the proclamation board itself. So let's go there now. So if you click on this little, your main tab, and you click on proclamations, that's going to take you to the proclamation board. Note that this one doesn't really have list view stuff very much, but you do have the ability to filter this one, which a lot of the other boards do not have. So you can filter by the status there, filter by the OA, or by the region. Very easy. If you just wanted to see one of these, kind of click on it, click filter if it doesn't automatically set. And then if you want to reset your filters, just click this little circular arrow. From there, you can then also do a new proclamation. So you can just click new, and here it opens up a new proclamation page. However, if you notice, it does not pull over the incident name. So if you know the incident name and it's already created, then you can just go to that incident if you want, and then you're not in danger of misspelling or finding one that is very similarly named, but from 2 years ago or something. Either way works though, whatever suits your fancy. So like if I were to go to, get rid of that one, if I were to go to my incident here, and I need to add a proclamation to this one, I just click on the little downward arrow, click new. And here I've got that same thing, new proclamation. So what you're going to want to do is fill out at very minimum everything that has the red asterisk. Those are required. It won't let you save without that. Otherwise, you kind of fill out as appropriate. So let's see. I'm going to add in a jurisdiction name, and that might just be the same as the county or something, whatever it is that's appropriate. Type if applicable, so you add that in, but then you've got a few things that are going to activate stuff. So jurisdiction type, like if I'm putting in county, operational area, Alameda, that is going to leave this declared counties as unusable because I'm only doing it for one county. So if I were to instead say state, that is going to open up this declared county. And here I can select one of these and move it over to chosen. I can press and hold control to be able to do more than one. If I mistook it and didn't need that one, I can just move it back. If it's for every single county, pushed it up at the top and press and hold shift down at the bottom, that'll put all of them in. Or I have one of them, Control A will select all, and you can move them all over. So it's that simple. What you want to do is add in whatever information is required. So disaster name, and add in the type of stuff that you've got going on. So we've got earthquake, here we go. The dates as appropriate, just fill in everything as needed. And you can fill in all of the other information if you've got it. Better to put in more if you already have it. You can always go back and edit it. Click save when you're complete. And that will add that to your list of proclamations. Here it's just opened up the proclamation tab itself. If I go back over here and click refresh, it will now show 3+, and you'll see Hindhold 3, the one that I just did, is right here. So at this point, you can do more things. You can edit anything that you made a mistake on. You can see the history of edits going on here, who did what and when, but you can also upload files. So here you can like drag and drop something if you want to. You can just upload and look for it within your computer. We've got some in the chat for you to be able to use. And you can just upload whatever it is. That's just an easy one to upload for me. So there we go. You can also like add files. This provides a different function where you can upload just like I did, but if you have something within the system already, you can choose it from here. So you're not uploading again, you're just choosing one that's already been uploaded.
Here is the training summary. What we learned today was an overview of the Cal EOC 360 apps, including read permission for almost everything and what's in those various applications. We saw default views. We learned a little about the widgets and editing, which is unique to this particular set of applications. We got a demo and incident walkthrough of most of the read-onlys and then also proclamations. And then here comes support information. If you have any questions or problems, let us know.